But here's CNN exposing more stuff that just a year ago they would have called right-wing conspiracy theories.
Let me play Mike Donnellan. He was asked at Harvard University about whether Joe Biden was cognitively impaired, and here was his response.
I watched him every day. You know, there's this view out there, and you see it written as like it's fact. Oh, Biden was mentally impaired. I didn't see that. And I sat in a room with him for hours and hours. I don't know how much time any of those people spent with Biden. I know how much time I spent with him. I know what I saw.
Alex, is he just lying? Because you've detailed a lot of examples in this book where people around him saw him unable to carry out parts of the job in terms of understanding information, sitting in meetings, things like that. Is he just lying?
I don't know if he's lying to us people or if he's lying to himself.
I find it funny how Democrats want to appear to be reasonable, and finally they're believing that Joe Biden wasn't mentally fit because over 200 sources confirmed it in this book. If there was a giant hole in my wall, I wouldn't need to call 200 inspectors to verify that there's a big gaping hole in my wall. Our eyes and ears told us that Joe Biden wasn't fit since before he ran for president. And now the same media institutions that were entirely complicit in the cover-up to begin with are now pointing fingers at everybody else and claiming they had nothing to do with it. But here's Jake Tapper and his co-author on another show on CNN talking about how Joe Biden was forgetting the names of his closest allies back in 2019.
New details about how much President Biden struggled at times to either recognize or remember the names of his own staff. It's all according to the new book, Original Sin. One of these instances happened even before Biden was president. Authors Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson reporting, and I quote from their book, during an 8-day grueling bus tour in Iowa in December 2019, Biden gave his aides pause. While doing prep, he struggled to remember the name of longtime aide Mike Donnellan. You know, he said, groping for it. His aides side-eyed one another. Donnellan had worked with Biden since 1981. And that's all the way back in 2019, which is kind of give you pause just thinking about this. But there were more instances, according to their book. In 2022, they write, standing in the outer oval with National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan and Kate Bedingfield, his communications director, he couldn't come up with either of their names, according to one witness. Steve, he said to Sullivan. Steve, he continued, obviously struggling to recall Jake's name.
When I say the Democrat Party hates America, that's not hyperbole. They prove it every day, time and time again. But the fact that they allowed the guy who is in charge of running this country, who is in charge of making the most important decisions at any time of day, be an old man who can't put a sentence together, who can't remember names of people he's known for 40 years. That proves, without a shred of doubt, that they don't care for the safety and security of America. Their decision sparked global conflict. It sparked an illegal immigration crisis, but yet they still didn't care. Being the world's superpower comes with an important responsibility, and being the leader of that superpower is an important responsibility. And when that person is a zombie, the entire world starts acting like their parents are out of town for the weekend and they can do whatever they want. And it starts to make sense why everything was a complete disaster.